My name is Ray Kennett. I'm a soybean breeder here in Beaver Crossing, Nebraska. We cover a fairly wide swath of maturity groups, starting at somewhere around in the late ones, maybe as early as 1.5, all the way up to a 4.0, and if we're lucky, maybe even a little later than that. The main focus is really late 2s and early 3s. Our target area is the Western Midwest. Our number one trait that we focus on is always going to be yield. But we are looking at a number of other things, from nematode resistance to Phytophthora. We have a significant amount of plots where we're looking at iron deficiency chlorosis on high pH soils. We also have a fairly substantial white mold trial, in addition to all of our yield locations scattered across Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota. The breeding process really starts at a cross. We'll select parents, one parent to another, and generate F1 seed. Here in Nebraska or down in Puerto Rico. We ship that seed down to Puerto Rico and we'll grow it there for a few generations, to the point where the individuals within that population, their descendants will be a little bit more homogeneous within lines. At about an F4 stage, we'll take single plant selections and we'll plant those out. Typical year, we'll probably do about 35,000 of those. We'll plant those here and in our winter nursery locations in South America. From there, those will go into yield trials. After about 3 years of yield trials, we'll probably end up with around 7 varieties that could go into a grower's field. So for every one variety that makes into a grower's bag, I've looked at 5,000, looked at those over the course of 4 years, and we'll test those even for 2 more years while those varieties are in foundation seed in the process of producing the commercial seed. BSF has a significant effort going into predictive breeding. So technologies like genomic selection and digital phenotyping are things we are really putting a lot of effort into. We are working on a number of different traits in our pipeline that will provide significant benefits to the grower in new ways, and help the grower get the most beans out of every acre. Beyond that, BSF has a significant effort into driving innovation. So we're working on a number of projects in the early experimental stages, one of which we are working with an outside company that, if the project is successful, will provide a significant bump in yield epigenetically beyond our already robust germplasm. Having a local breeding station in an area is a tremendous benefit to a farmer. Other big seed companies are moving to a more centralized model where they're looking at data and trying to predict what will do good where. And I really think that's really not going to be the best strategy in the long run. Having a breeding station nearby really does ensure that what the grower plants is suited to their field. BSF's putting a significant effort into speed breeding, speeding up the breeding process. The faster we can go, the faster we can get new genetics into our products, and the faster we can make progress. With soybeans, it's a bit more difficult than some other crops. Our speed breeding strategy traditionally has been using Puerto Rico heavily. You can plant soybeans in Puerto Rico any day of the year and get 4 generations in 1 year. So to shrink that down even further, it requires significant effort. We are working on some processes that will help us increase that from 4 generations a year up to 5. And this will help us to, innovate faster, help to get, new products out faster, and really, in the end, help the grower as much as we can. BSF is really investing heavily in soybeans. The company's made soybeans a globally strategic crop, and has been expanding our breeding efforts considerably. My program came online at the end of 2014. We got our first crop planted in 2015. Since then, we've added 2 more breeding stations, and we're continuing to expand our breeding efforts throughout the Midwest in coming years. The most exciting aspect of my job is to see our new varieties and produce that one that's going to look good and help the grower out and help the grower to do what they need to do.